Let's start with the first exercise here. Of course, we want to execute a function here, so I will add the vOn directive to listen to a user event first. I then pass the argument after the colon, which is the name of the event I want to listen to, and that's the click event here. Now, between the quotation marks, I specify the code I want to execute on each click, and here, as I just said, I want to execute a function. So down there, I'll add it to my methods, and I will name it alert me, just like that. Now in this function, all I'll do is I will throw an alert where I say alert. Really straightforward. And now I can use this alert me function from down there to pass a simple reference here in the quotation marks as the value for this directive binding. If I now hit Control Enter and click on Show Alert, we see this alert over here. So this is now working. This is the first task. In the second one, I now want to listen to a different event on a different element on this input here. The user is of course able to type something here, and I want to listen to each keystroke the user does. So again, with vOn, I can set up such a listener. I can bind an event to some code I want to execute when the event occurs. And the event I want to listen to is key down. I could also use key up. Key down is, as the name implies, fired whenever the key is pressed before it is released. Key up would be pressed after it is released. Choose whatever suits your needs. Here I'll choose key down, and in there I want to change the value. Notice initially it's set to an empty string. I can update it by simply saying value equals and then event, $event to be precise, because this is this reserved name Vue.js creates for us, this reserved variable, which stores the default event object automatically created for us by JavaScript, which holds valuable information like the target of the event. Now the target clearly is this input field, and since the input field has a value property, this is where I can get the input value from. So on my event object, I can access the target of the event, again the input element here, and then the value. And with that, I'm assigning the value of the target of this event to this value property down there. I could have, of course, also called a function where I pass $event as an argument and use it in the function body to do the same. If I now hit Control Enter, let's output something here. As you can see, the value gets updated below both inputs because this is where I output it with string interpolation, and this is the behavior I was looking for here. In the third exercise, I want to take the second one and adjust it to only fire if the key we press is enter. So I still want to be able to enter something here. I'm not restricting this to enter, but I only want to update the value, which will then be output via string interpolation, whenever we hit the enter key, so that we don't update it upon every keystroke. We listen for every keystroke, but we then decide should we do something or shouldn't we do something. So in order to do this, I will generally copy the same code as up here, as we want the same functionality, but of course that won't restrict it to the enter key. I can restrict it by adding a key modifier here. With the dot, I add such a modifier, and then the name for the enter key simply is enter. This tells Vue.js only fire the code or execute the code between the quotation marks if we A, have a key down event, and B, very important, the key which is down is the enter key. With that, if I hit Control Enter, you can see on the upper input where I don't have this check, I can still type and see the values reflected. But down there, we don't see an updating, but as soon as I do hit Enter, it changes to max and Maximilian and so on. This is of course a very useful behavior because oftentimes you want to listen to every keystroke but not update a value upon every keystroke. You only want to update it once the user kind of hits enter to tell you, well, I'm done editing it, take the value, for example. These were the 3 exercises on events. Again, very concise, but should get you really started with it, showing you how to listen to events with the vOn directive, how to call functions, how to use the event object. Again, you would have been able to pass this to a function as an argument. And then how to also use modifiers like the key modifier here to control when specifically your event occurs. With that, let's move on to the next lectures.